10 football Christmas parties that ended in controversy after Boris Johnson's scandal. Everybody loves a Christmas party, as Boris Johnson and his government have proved, and footballers are no exception. They may have packed schedules to contend with, but they still find the time to get merry during the most wonderful time of the year. Sometimes the festive spirit can be embraced too much, though, leading to headline-making controversy of the highest proportion. The Prime Minister and his cronies are not the first to face a scandal after holding a shindig over the holidays. Daily Star Sport are taking a look at 10 football Christmas parties which descended into chaos. Liverpool's squad in 1998 opted to make their get-together a fancy dress occasion. That decision led to the incredible sight of Sky Sports pundit Jamie Carragher, then just 20 years old, dressed as the Hunchback of Notre Dame, while surrounded by strippers. Reports at the time claimed Michael Owen cowered in the corner, and a concerned Paul Ince watched on as Carragher made the most of some whipped cream. Have you got a better Christmas party story? Let us know in the comments section. Banning your players from having a Christmas party does not stop those players from having a Christmas party, as Harry Redknapp found out the hard way in 2009. The Tottenham manager said his squad would never take the liberty of going behind his back. Meanwhile, 16 of them headed to Dublin for a booze-up, led by native Robbie Keane. Pictures emerged of the all-day session, and as they lost to relegation battling Wolves days later, they were all fined £20,000. Keane, who had lied to his boss and said they were going on a golf trip, was then loaned out to Celtic. The Manchester City festivities in 2004 were doomed before they got going because Joey Barton was attending. Troublesome is an understatement when it comes to Barton, who reportedly paraded around boasting about his bumper contract while trying to burn holes in his teammates' costumes with a cigar. Youth player Jamie Tandy retaliated with a cigarette lighter, which resulted in the 18-year-old receiving a poke in the eye from Barton and his cigar. Following the incident, Barton said, "I was a bit PD, and he just tried to set me on fire. There was an ashtray on the table. Thankfully that was attached to the table. So I grabbed Danny Mills' cigar that was in the ashtray and went to stub it out on the back of his neck. But he clocked that something was going on and turned around to see what was happening, and I got him on the eyelid. It's bad, I know. I was drunk and angry after the FG idiot had set my shirt on fire." It was all going swimmingly well at the 1998 West Ham party until Trevor Sinclair and Neil Razor Ruddock came across a bright orange Mini which they decided to allegedly lay into. The interaction resulted in a criminal damage conviction for Sinclair, while Ruddock was charged and later cleared of affray under the Public Order Act. Sinclair was fined £250 and ordered to pay £225 in compensation to the driver of the car, a 19-year-old beauty therapist. Those in charge at West Ham had barely got over the '98 controversy when another one sprung up 3 years later. Australian defender Hayden Fox had clearly indulged too much at the Sugar Reef Club, as after amassing a reported tab of nearly £2,000, he proceeded to urinate all over the bar. "There were no fights or yelling of abuse or anything," Fox later said. "What I did was wrong and got blown right out of proportion." Former Bolton midfielder Stig Tofting made sure all Santa was bringing him for Christmas was coal in 2004. Tofting, who had only been released from a 3-month stint in jail 18 months prior, probably should have been left off the invite list by his Danish side AGF Aarhus. Alas, he attended the party and went on to allegedly hit four of his teammates after they'd stupidly decided to tear his shirt. Tofting was released by the club for his actions. Manchester United were the top team in England in 2007, so Rio Ferdinand ensured they had a Christmas party just as grand to match. He organized an event which had a no-wag rule, but ended up with around 100 women joining the squad on a 15-hour bender. Police were called in the early hours and took away young defender Johnny Evans on suspicion of rape, but he was later cleared. Sir Alex Ferguson cancelled festive gatherings altogether after the infamous night at the Great John Street Hotel. With Neil Lennon passing out and smashing his head on a pavement at the end of the night, Celtic's 2001 party had been bad enough. A wise move would have been to tone down the 2002 edition and not just move it south of the border from Glasgow to Newcastle. They did so to avoid attention, but the complete opposite happened as a group of photographers flocked to the bar the squad were in. Chaos ensued and Lennon was once again involved, getting arrested along with 3 of his teammates. Lennon was released on the night, but he left behind Bobby Petta, Johan Mjalby and Jules Balgarin, who were later cleared too. Photographers and football Christmas parties are clearly a recipe for disaster. Leeds new boy Robbie Fowler also ended up in a cell in December 2001 after a snapper's camera ended up smashed on the floor, though he too was released without charge. The Yorkshire club had enlisted 5 security guards to follow for the 30-strong squad around, and even that couldn't stop footballers getting into trouble. There's not a whole lot to celebrate at a Christmas party when you're near the bottom of the table. The mood in the Leicester City camp in 2001 was frosty to say the least, especially between Dennis Wise and Robbie Savage. To give him his due, Wise was in the giving spirit, but a teddy bear on a sex toy wasn't what Savage had wrote on his list for Father Christmas, at least, we hope not. "Take this, because you're the only PK in a Leicester shirt at the moment," Wise reportedly uttered to his teammate. Savage is said to have utilized a nearby chocolate fountain and rubbed it all over his foe's face, leading to the pair getting into it. Wise was sacked months later for punching yet another of his teammates.